With accuracy, separate clocks in separate communities could now become synchronized through the convenient invention of the telegraph. The train stations were able to be more punctual and prompt. If you were late, the train would leave you in order to reach the next destination on time. The accuracy of clocks and the train stations urged towards being on time, pushed society towards punctuality and promptness. The correlation between the invention of the locomotive and the idea of standard time was appointed at Greenwich. The time kept at Greenwich became known as the Greenwich Mean Time, or GMT. This was a standardized, synchronized time used in England. An international conference was conducted in 1884 discussing the GMT. Time zones were eventually established too. There are 24 time zones matching the 24 hours in a day, or the time it takes for Earth to rotate. Every 15 degrees requires the hour of time to change. Also, a center in Paris receives signals from different countries to keep up with the coordination of time, called Coordinated Universal Time. Now the whole world has a set time to go by. In 1918, the time zones were legalized in America. Trains had to wait 18 minutes to synchronize with time. Even in the 70s, there were countries converting to GMT. Technology and society were transforming just as they are today. Clocks throughout history have impacted society. Even in present day, clocks influence society. Clocks are everywhere. Analog or digital, you'll find them. Clocks are in your car, on your cell phone, in your house, on the microwave, on the stove, on the television, on the cordless and landline phone, computer or laptop, on your wrist. The list goes on and on. There seems to be a dependency on time. The technological innovation of clocks has molded our society to become more reliant on them. Being on time is necessary for everything. One must be on time for work, school, appointments, meetings, church, you name it. This can be a blessing and a burden, though. On one hand, time can help push for improvement faster. For example, in schools, there is a time schedule for what you teach and when you teach it. This pushes teachers and students to work harder towards an academic goal. Furthermore, students take time tests in order to show their strengths in a timely manner because accuracy and speed is important. A patient entering the ER doesn't want a doctor who doesn't know what they are doing and is slow about it. Time can be seen as extreme as manipulating life and death in cases like the ER scenario. Time and society correlate with each other so that society uses it to push them to better, a stronger society. On the other hand, time can defeat us. A different scenario includes due dates. A student who is supposed to turn something in by a certain time failed to meet that deadline and received a failing grade. That one failing grade could interfere with their future career, where if they hadn't failed, they could have gotten a better job. Also, if a business person doesn't meet a deadline, they could lose their job. How would they live without income? Time affects our routine and our moods. Our routines revolve around time. Most people use alarm clocks to wake themselves up. Our alarm clocks helps us wake up in order to be somewhere on time. We can better allow ourselves to be punctual. There are those who are in a routine and are able to wake up on their own on time. However, most people need an alarm clock. What would we do without them? Think of what happens when the alarm clock fails to go off for whatever reason. You are late, scared, and stressed, especially if you could be fired from a job you so desperately need. Time-set alarms also go off at school. Those alarms are called bells. They tell a student when to change classes. Schedules are made to better organize an adolescent's educational activities, when to eat, when to have recess, and when to arrive and leave. These bells help fit in all the subjects throughout the day, and at the same time, those same bells make fitting in all the concepts for each subject difficult too. Teachers and students run out of time and can feel crunched. Schedules and daily routines are found in other places throughout society besides in educational facilities. Communities as a whole have their own routines too. For example, perhaps the morning routine for this community is laundry and weekly shopping. At night is when the drug haze begins, causing some to stay in for the night and others to find trouble. With the help of clocks, the time in which activities are performed by members of differing communities can be determined. This can be helpful for that community's policymakers. If they know that at night around a certain time drugs are in abundance, then those policymakers could plan a counteract, such as a curfew. Those same policymakers could offer extracurricular activities and other outside of school activities for adolescents to encounter. A community can use clocks to help them plan for improvement. A downfall for knowing a predictable routine is hard to configure. One point of view would be that if terrorists knew the routine of a community, they could plan for destruction.